Good morning, friends. Wake up. Welcome back to One Sober to Another. It's good to see all your sober faces. And if you're not sober, this is a channel for you to be able to pick up the tools you need in order to strive for your success. Today's daily reflection: I am responsible, for September 12th, 2020. Let's get after it. All right, friends, let's do this. I am responsible for the readiness to take full consequences of our past acts and the responsibility for the well-being of others at the same time is the very spirit of Step 9. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 47. As you were, page 87. In recovery, and through the help of Alcoholics Anonymous, or whichever recovery method that you are using, I learned that the very thing I fear is my freedom. It comes from my tendencies to recoil from taking responsibility for anything I deny, I ignore, I blame, and I avoid. Then one day, I look, I admit, and I accept. The freedom, the healing, and the recovery I experienced is in the looking, admitting, and accepting. I learned to say, yes, I am responsible. When I can speak those words honestly and with sincerity, then I am free. Really? If I say I am responsible, I am free? You know, in my experience as an active alcoholic, I cast blame to everything else other than myself for things that were going wrong in my life. One sober to another, I'm going to tell you about it real quick. I used to blame other folks for my failures and my shortcomings daily, really. It all depended on the situation. You know, if I was instructing at the time and my class was held up late, I blamed somebody else instead of taking accountability for me not being there on time. When I was recruiting, if I didn't get a contracted person for the Army, then it was someone else's fault that the paperwork was messed up, or it was someone else's mistake that the job that the person wanted was not inputted into the computer correctly. I also even took that further to blame, I don't know, the lack of money that I had on my wife. Even though she had been the one trying to save the money, I was the one drinking the money. I blamed countless things on countless people, and that was the nature of what I did. As a matter of fact, that was the nature of what I did even as survival in my childhood. Which, if you haven't seen any of those videos, you can look at Childhood Abducted above to get a better idea of what I'm talking about. I avoided every situation that would cause conflict or where I would have to be accountable. You know, I would avoid directly the position where I would have to say I was wrong, such as, you know, if I had to go see someone to talk about, you know, something that didn't happen to where I was going to cast blame, I would simply just avoid them altogether. And then when my wife would confront me about the money, I would avoid her. I would deflect and I would leave. You know, that became a big deal because my whole stage was walking out on conversations that would cause me discomfort or have to make me look inward and see that I faulted somewhere. I would just simply leave. I'd grab my keys and I'd just drive away. And that could have been directly from a weekend visit that I was having with my son. And I would just get in the car and drive away 4 hours the other direction, and knew that there wasn't an opportunity for me to see him again until the next week. So that became a big deal in a lot of people's lives, not only my own. And then I'd ignore. I'd just simply dismiss the situation altogether. If I knew that, I had drank myself into debt, I wouldn't open the mail. I wouldn't, and that's part of avoidance as well. But I wouldn't go to the mailbox. I wouldn't, I wouldn't answer any phone calls, that's for certain. And I would just straight up ignore my wife altogether and, not go home. Just ignore the situation altogether. It didn't exist if I didn't think about it, and it didn't exist if I drank about it, and it didn't exist if, I made it go away in my mind. The problem is that I had to be responsible, and that came from a lot of the things. And if you look at this daily reflection, the freedom and the healing and the recovery came from looking at the situation for what it was, or looking at the problem that I just maybe just created. I'm sure as an alcoholic, you can relate to the point that you probably created a lot of problems, and you probably created your own situations, and you probably ran away from them as well, just like I did. But the freedom and growth, comes from being able to examine those things and see your point in those, your fault. And that's just being able to admit, where you've gone wrong or what you have done, and to start accepting it is the even bigger transition to that, because now you have to be accountable for the things that you've created and the things that you've done, and all the things that you walked away from. I had to start paying out my debt because I had to be accountable for the fact that I drove my family into debt. Nobody else did. I did. I continually showed up late to certain things. Nobody else caused me to be late. And if I simply ignore it, it's not going away, because there's no simple Band-Aid you can put on some big problems. And to accept my points of failure in those, and you can look at it as failure, or you can look at it as, where you had gone wrong, and start actually taking action in order to repair those things. If you can relate to anything I'm saying, drop a comment below, because someone else is going to get something from this that can possibly help them. As an active, I say a lot. As an active alcoholic, I used to, recluse from situations, recoil, and I would simply just drink them away. And that's where a lot of my larger problems came from, is that, instead of facing them and being accountable at the time, which even drunk or not could have avoided a whole lot of crap, but your brain can play some tricks on you and tell you that you're not at fault. If I would have just addressed those in the first place, they wouldn't have gotten larger. The problems wouldn't have gotten larger, a lot of them, if I would have just been responsible for them at the time. And if I knew then that all I have to do is say I am responsible, and I actually mean it, then I would be able to repair those situations. I keep using situations because there's certain things that I can't say just yet, but they will come out. They will come out. But there are certain things I can't say just yet, because that could put me in jeopardy right now. But if I'm accountable for them, and I am responsible, then I can take action and fix the situation. Well, maybe not fix, but, make steps to repair. And that is a freedom for us as alcoholics and recovering alcoholics and addicts to be able to move in a direction that is positive versus continually falling backwards, which is where a lot of people, and I will say, for me, that's where I relapsed in the past, is because I wasn't being accountable, and I was still avoiding, and I was still blaming, and I was still ignoring, and it wasn't leading me anywhere. And perhaps you can relate to that also. One sober to another, like the way I did that, we can grow. And that's what every day is for. We can grow. And if we get stuck, I keep saying we because I'm talking to you as either an alcoholic, someone inquisitive, a sober, or a person who's not sober yet, trying to figure out where they want to go in their life. But if we ignore those problems and we get stuck in a relapse, the reality is you might not make it back from a relapse. That's the reality. Or you might get yourself into a situation you can't get out of, and there's no opportunity to repair it, and you can't come back from it. So these daily reflections and the things that we discuss here on One Sober to Another can potentially save your life and or just stop you from doing something so catastrophically stupid and insane that you can't get back from, because alcoholism is insanity, and so is addiction. And we're here to help each other. So today's daily reflection, I am responsible for September 12th, 2020. If you've gotten anything out of this ramble that I did today, hit that like button below. And if you want to continue to see these daily reflections, also put that in the comments, as well as if you feel like subscribe, because this channel only gets better with the more people we have. And on One Sober to Another, this squad will change lives, because that's what we're here for. We're here to share our experience, strength, and hope to help you get something from it to make your life better. So if you want to be a part of that, go ahead and subscribe. I look forward to it, and perhaps we can do something together. That's all I have for this morning. And I know I looked at the book a lot, but that's only because there's so much value in just being able to have a small reflection every day. Being able to wake up, watch the sunrise, and not be passed out until 1400, for me, is a God-sent blessing. If you don't believe in God, replace that with the higher power of your choice. Love you, folks, and I'll see you later. Till the next one, have a great day. Bye.